best way to learn any complicated skill pen and paper. Know exactly why we do everything. No extra. I have 3 pens, and they all serve a purpose. Mainly, my pencil is to write my thoughts. What was I seeing at the board? If there's an alternative line, I'm explaining why I think I didn't see it. Hello, viewer. Red is just the alternative line. Black is the game itself. So what I actually did. So think of it as what happened, what could have or should have happened, and the explanation. It's a little more complicated than that, but it's all we need. What chess.com did to Hans Niemann was unnecessary. It was a desperate reach to try to reignite the chess boom. And they absolutely know he did not cheat over the board. And there are many online players who have cheated a lot, even some titled players. Had they went after Hans Niemann 4 years ago or whenever they are pretty sure he cheated, fine. But to do it right after Magnus Carlsen threw his little bitch fit is disgusting. It's a turnoff. And unless top players and existing chess enthusiasts are going to grow your game and help grandmasters outside of the top 20 make a living, that is the ugliest, dumbest marketing tactic ever. You'll never reignite the COVID chess boom unless you take athletes who got into it during COVID and promote their stories to remind beginners it is possible. It was stupid. I will never be convinced otherwise unless I see a picture of Hans Niemann using an engine in round 3 of the 2022 Sinquefield Cup. I want nothing to do with chess.com. I wouldn't put their logo on my stream for $10 billion, or let's say $100 million. Because life is hard. We all make mistakes. Accusing without evidence is beyond cruel, especially in the age of the internet where it is going to be around forever. They're not over the board chess. They're an entertainment platform that has some good learning features for lower rated athletes. And I did have a good time with this. I'm building my trailer, which is, among other things, going to illustrate my transition from a casual online content creator to a full-time force to be reckoned with over the board. That's how we get better. Like I said, chess.com is great to get started. Trained over the board players, even in the 1400s, are better than some 2000s online. And I get better playing them because they're actually playing chess properly or trying to. So this is kind of my way out. I thought about how I could continue playing online and balance it with over the board, but it's not worth the risk. It's too much time. Too many downward spirals. Got to build it back up. I'm not doing it anymore. Life is short. Also, my chess.com membership ends on the 21st. I'll never renew that shit. Still, there are a lot of cool analytics that I'm going to use for this trailer. I want to go through those with you right now. Because chess is it's cool. It's a beautiful thing. And the downside to the pen and paper approach is we don't get all these features. Okay. No. Now take my online stats with a grain of salt. Well, not the number itself. I'd say my rating is not too far off my actual ability. But a lot of these were downward spirals. I was mad. Sometimes I was playing a little better than normal. Made sure it was completely silent around me. Other times I was waiting on an Uber ride and I had to rush the game because I got one, or in between blackjack dealing shifts. There's a lot of variables here. But I have recorded enough under my YouTube lives to ensure there are no legitimate accusations of cheating. Because I'll punch people. Not really. But no, let's not put that in there. I'll give myself the option, but online is all about me being perfect to people who don't know chess. I want them to think I'm perfect. So I only promote my positive numbers. Pieces I hung. Hung pieces. Thanks for throwing that one in there. A-hole. And that's what I like. Look at all those hanging pieces I find. I'm a machine. Just call me the Albert Pujols of chess. I'm not going to get anywhere being nice or modest. I don't like it either. Hung pieces. You know I found that shit. Like that better. We'll probably just use this one instead. What are your strengths and areas to improve? I'm a machine, so not a lot, but even machines need to be oiled from time to time. Brilliant. 282. What is this? It's the total. I don't know if that's super relevant. I think the percentage is more important. Fine. It's pretty cool. I never looked at these insights. I don't really know how I would use them because I really expect that the big time chess clubs like the St. Louis Chess Club will use DGT boards so much more in their play, because until we're pretty good, like 10 minutes is a good time control to learn, but it's not enough to write down our moves, to notate every move. Move classifications, or even blitz for newer players. If you don't have time to or if you don't know how to calculate, well, what does it matter to add more time? That's the one big mistake I made when learning, as I played rapid and I even extended the time to 15 or 20 or sometimes 30 minutes. Why? I didn't know what I was doing. Add more time. Great. I don't know what I'm looking at yet. So over the board, that would be so cool. And it would also encourage people like me who are really trying to improve. And it's amazing. Even really good players at the St. Louis Chess Club, some of them are just talented kids, but like, you're not going to really get better. You're just kind of playing. And sure, you might review it quickly, but you're not going in depth. And the higher rated ones, those who are much stronger than me and played a lot longer, you're not going to beat the next tier of players doing that. So for me, I wouldn't even play a blitz game. I don't play blitz because I obviously can't write down the games or the notations. But if I could, I'd play a ton of blitz at the club. What is this? That's what I just. Oh, that looks cool. Let's take a picture of it. Quality over time. Wow. And this is where, like, of all the, I'm not joking about the Niemann stuff, but of all the heckling about the Niemann thing, don't want to leave that in there. Let's try it. It is amazing, all the reporting features these days, not just with chess.com, but in any application. It's only going to get better with AI. What's going on here? No, I don't want that. Why is it doing this? So that's how cheating is found. I'm assuming the Chess.com Fair Play Team has a more advanced feature. But all this stuff, I mean, if something's an outlier, first of all, that's the whole point of chess improvement is to be an outlier, is to improve. So you got to be real careful accusing. That's why the Niemann thing again was dumb. We're going to ruin your life for cheating. We're not sure you did. You just improved too fast, and Magnus Carlsen said so. So we're going to ruin your life. But buy our membership, renew your membership, so you can also improve. It's dumb. I don't know that matters much. See, now if they weren't also similar, I would probably take a picture of that. But wow, games where you castle, it tells you everything. Yeah, at least everyone knows what a castle is. So let's go ahead and that's when I don't want that in though. I don't want that little pop up with the number in. Okay, so let's take a picture of that. And my take on editing software is any reputable software from Microsoft Clipchamps is the easiest. Well, I take that back. Snagit is the easiest, but I don't think it's very easy to build a full video in Snagit. So I don't count Snagit. When I castle. So leaving out Snagit, Microsoft Clipchamps is easy. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, in my opinion. I'm also no expert video editor, and quite honestly, I'm gonna play Serious over the board and document it without all the lights and cool pop-ups that I try to do in some videos. If I'm 1800 USCF and I'm not making some money or enough to justify paying someone to do the editing, I hate the editing. But I understand enough, which will help me if someone else ever edits my videos. But I'll be done. I don't have the energy to do everything. I want to play chess, and if I don't get to play chess, I've tried it. I'll leave it up. Who knows what's going to happen with the job market going forward? There's a good calculated risk endeavor. That would be a good one, because again, I have messed up my sleep schedule many times doing this. That makes sense. I mean, it's only 1 point something percent, but less than 1 point something. See, and I think that's because if it's going well in the afternoon, I might play some in the evening. And then when I'm playing in the evening, if I am doing fine or I end my session and suddenly I'm not doing fine, then it carries over into the night. So it's like that's the start of my manic event, and then it kind of stabilizes a little bit, and then I get it back, which makes not a ton of sense, right? Because in the morning, I'm going to take a nap or something. I can't keep doing this, and then or maybe I tell myself I'll take a day break, and of course I don't last that long because I'm a chess addict. Okay, fine, we got our hour nap in. Let's go. Our brain is fresh-ish. Fades a little bit, then cycles like that. Games by day of week. That's amazingly consistent. It's incredible. Smaller number of games on Saturdays because I'm out being social? No, not necessarily. I would have expected Saturday to be one of my busier chess days. Oh, it's because on the weekends I was playing a lot of tournaments. Well, not a lot, but enough tournaments to alter the statistics there. Battles. And going back to my Going back to my editing talk, Microsoft Clipchamps, easy. It's good enough. Adobe Premiere Pro, I haven't played with that much. I think my membership expired a while back, but I've heard that's pretty good. Ice Cream Video Editor is interesting. Kind of like Clipchamps, does enough. That was the first one I started using. I played around with a few others like iMovie. I believe the laptop version of iMovie is it Wonder something or Filmora? Maybe it's Filmora. That's the name of the desktop app, but I don't really use it. Pretty much just use iMovie on my iPhone if I need to get something quick. And there's some cool features in iMovie, such as adding a stopwatch into a video in case we're running or doing anything that we're trying to add suspense with a ticking clock. iMovie is solid. And I believe, kind of like AI improving so drastically, the options on iPhone to edit videos entirely on the iPhone without having to switch to the laptop is going to improve quickly and drastically as well. Like iMovie, it's not super easy to center and be extremely precise in our text, but that'll change. Like the laptop, just kind of like if you're familiar with PowerPoint and most are, it's so easy to center everything. It's so easy to clean it up. It's the downside of the iPhone. You can do a lot of things, but making it neat is a problem. What is this? Canada. I love Canadian people. Big fan of Canadian people. I don't know about them as far as chess goes, but I like Canadian people overall. So unless for some reason the Canadian chess athletes are just different than the general population, I think I would like the Canadian people, chess athletes. I'll probably end up being friends with chess players from other countries simply because I am the late blooming chess prodigy, and it's cool when I'm starting. Oh, how he's sticking with it? Is it great sticking with it, man? Oh, that's got to be so hard. I learned chess when I was 4, and obviously Dayton will never be in my class. But how amazing! So many adults quit, and it's just rare that drive just and willingness to sacrifice. Man, so many just stop in the first 2 months, and I just want to be his friend, even though I'm a master or grandmaster. Yeah, until I figure it out. Then, okay, he's getting a little better than he should have. What's going on? That's when I'll have to move to Canada. I'll say America's jealous of me, guys. America's jealous, eh? Sorry about the Trump tariffs. But can I move here? Sure, you can come live in Toronto. What's rent? Is the let's say $1,500 US, 2,000. Toronto's pretty nice. Downtown, maybe 3,000. That'll be $1 million per month. $1 million for an apartment? Why? Retaliatory tariffs. That would be an interesting trick. Desirable places like Toronto. Obviously, many Americans go to Spain, sightsee, and other parts of Europe. We're not going to retaliate too much with the tariffs because America does have all the buying power. But what we are going to do is we're just going to make your life hell anywhere you visit. Pass some law that allows Canadian hotels to just change their prices for Americans. Well, when you signed, it was $120 per night, or when you booked. Sorry about that. Add a zero to everything. It's not going to show on the bill for Americans, but when you go and you balance your checkbook, it's going to add a zero to every expense in Canada. One way to do it. Can they actually do that? Is that democratic? Well, no, but who really knows what's happening in the world? We can make some rules. Just throw consistency out the window. I I tell jokes on social media. That's all. Or is there another page of this stuff? I do support Donald Trump. I do agree with his mindset. A lot of other countries view America as the bully. I'm getting older, so I've obviously had enough life experience to see some of that perspective. But you can't let other countries trample on us. And also some people in other countries don't have it that hard. That's why the Democrats lost in part. It's so unfair for this demographic or people in this country. We have to cater to them. And there's a lot of people struggling in America. I worked in tech, which is, a ridiculous percentage of Indians in American tech. And I'm cool with offshoring. I disagree with the argument. Well, if you do the tariffs, then they'll just move factories to Mexico, for example. That's fine. That's fine. I get it. It's business. Offshore it. In the case of tech, India has a much bigger population, and there's a lot more emphasis on systems and intellectual pride. And that's fine. That's fine. Offshore to India or the Philippines. But don't send our soldiers somewhere to fight and then bring people to live in homes nicer than they will be able to rent when they return home with PTSD. That is beyond competitive. That is cruel. That is where I wish America weren't so democratic, so we could just kick some big shots out. Well, Amazon's doing it. I hate that too. Amazon's doing it too. Okay, fine. Drop your quotes in the case of Walmart. I'm sure other company leaders do similar rationalizations. Drop your quotes about faith and create American jobs and ethics and go do what Amazon does. But my generation, I don't know if we've ever put it into these words. I really think we understand a lot more than some of the older people think we do. And we view a corporate executive kind of like a snaky lawyer who just smiles a little more and says the right things. But we're not fooled by it. I mean, to try to act like you care about mental health or your sustainability stats are just to be believed without questioning. You'd be amazed at how willing even pretty simple millennials are to call you on your bullshit, to extensively research your bullshit and say, I don't buy that. Well, it's in a corporate presentation. It's on. We have a workplace award. Yeah, fuck you. We're more suspicious now. You'd be amazed at how much you hurt yourself to some of the older executives when you try to act like you understand us. So go America. Try not to piss the world off. But if politics don't isolate America, might climb up Chess Mountain will, because they'll say that's not right. Something's fishy there, and they'll find nothing because I'm an honest man. And then other countries just won't want to play chess with us anymore because there's something in our water. And if Dayton's getting good, what's going to happen to the grandmasters of America? They're going to just kill us. So full of shit. I'm always full of shit, but when I'm waking up, I'm especially full of shit. Okay, so what else do I have? I don't think I have anything else that's really catered to my chess play. That's good enough. Oh, awards could be interesting. I already got my stats, but would a nice award be the cherry on top for my new trailer? Yeah, of course. Why do I have to accept challenges? Bring them on. Why would I say no? Tonight I can't say she walked away. I don't need that. I'm too mic'd up for this feedback. Can't you see that she'll relapse? You'll be back. It's whatever. I don't care about it anyway. Could always find somebody better any day. Need a couple drinks. Gather up the crew. Why would I want to? Why would I want that? Go and find some trouble. Yeah, that's what we gonna do. Of course, see there dancing on some fellas. God damn. This chick know how to make me jealous tonight. Oh, can't look away. 'Cause you are the show. It's getting late. But I'm not ready to go. I'm so close right now. And I don't wanna take it slow. So ask me for anything. And tonight I can't say no. Thought I told you I couldn't say no. I don't think I can do anything with that. Call it good enough. I've actually started setting a time limit on my brainstorming. Because if you have a brain like mine, I probably don't have ADD. There's something different about me, something special. My brain just goes. Once it starts, the reason I don't think I have any serious mental health or genetic mental health issues, I should say, is there's always a very clear trigger when I do some crazy shit. Always has been when I look back. And I have good parents, so I never really, I didn't do too many outrageous things. But when I start feeling bad or start really going down rabbit holes, and I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, but I find movies interesting that have some conspiratorial narratives to them. So like this movie, one of my friends was into it. I want to say his name was, I think Brock showed me that. So probably late high school. And most people just watch this movie. Like, that's some interesting points. Maybe not. It's not like I can influence anything. So who cares? But I just pick it apart. And there's a segment about religion in that, and little me just, I mean, I grew up Baptist, so I picked apart everything about the play on the zodiac, and the 12 disciples, the repeated use of the number 12 in the Bible. I can't just watch something and stop. Ancient Aliens, I got into that shit. And me and Brock would talk about it. When I went to college, I was bringing it up. All my friends are partying, chasing girls. I'm like, you want to watch this movie? What do you think about it? I think it's bullshit here. And that's from a young age. I've never just believed anything. And then if I realized it, maybe I was at a party and I'm like, I have to entertain this discussion. I didn't go to a lot of parties. It just killed me inside. Always has. And some people develop that when we're older, where, okay, I understand I'm not interested in this topic, so I'm cringing, but I'm gonna tolerate it. No. But when they're younger, we don't know what we like, we don't know who we are. So yeah, maybe this conversation's cool. I don't really understand what he's saying. Maybe it's full shit, but whatever. Woo. And not me. Since I was probably before college, I can think conversations off the top of my head. I'm just like, fuck you. But even people I didn't like, I was pretty decent at saying, okay, like, I'll give you that. Like, I was just always, I wasn't like trying to debate, but my brain was always going. And if someone bullshitted me, or if I heard just a really smart person say something in class or while walking out about the lesson, like, I was really tempted to call them on, and I sometimes did. Even if I knew they were smarter than me, I couldn't just let it go. But going back to my point, mental illness, I don't know. But I've always been this way. The good news is I've never had any like random outbursts. And I bring this up because a lot of the best chess players of history, I wouldn't say a lot or a majority, but they've had some psychiatric challenges, to put it mildly. Bobby Fischer being the most notable. But also, stable, sane people don't do much. Even climbing the corporate ladder, unless you climb it, into the C-suite. Like, what did you do with your life? I mean, you made a company money. It's pretty impressive when you get that high up in the ranks and actually have some respect, even if they are conservative corporate lifers, because you had to make a lot of good decisions. You're probably a very bright person. But let's say you're a VP of, Internet of Things at a big company. That's as high as you make it, which is very high. It's not many people make it that high. It's like, cool. Whatever. My point is that's a normal brain maximizing its potential. You didn't do much, and you still did a lot for that life trajectory. So talking about starting businesses, getting people to consider different ideas, elite athletes, the chances of them being what we would consider normal is low. And in my opinion, a lot of the better ones, from athletes to business owners or creative entrepreneurs, if you look at their childhood, I would expect they weren't just freaking out randomly, which is, in my opinion, more what a mental illness would look like, or the dangerous ones that could become major challenges to our lives and possibly others. But most likely it was, okay, I saw this and I can't stop. Or maybe I got my feelings hurt, but I know why I don't feel good about this. The difference is they can't just let it go. To me, those people are the ones that have a chance to do something interesting with their lives if they don't end up in prison. Whereas someone with a real bad mental illness, it might literally be just, I feel this way suddenly. And there's not like a clear reason why. And that's been chess for me. Got into it during COVID. Imagine, and this is a great way to explain mental health. And mental health is not necessarily important to me. I won't lie and say it is. I've only had one person really close to me whose life was tragically ended. But it was a very good friend, and it was, I don't know if preventable was the right word, but I guess. And so am I like a mental health advocate? Not really. The brain fascinates me. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, which I didn't struggle. Now that I'm older and I've talked to a lot of people that did via Uber mainly, I didn't struggle near as bad as I thought I did. Or in the scheme of things, a lot of people are going through a lot worse shit while they're growing up. But I would basically say, suck it the fuck up. Now that I've had some life experience and hardship, still I do acknowledge genetic mental illnesses are real. I don't want anyone to hurt, normal brain or not. And this would be my chess statistics would be a great way to explain. I'm not a criminal. I've never been violent. But imagine when you look at it, my worst nights where I'm just going and going and going. I spiral out of control, and then most people would take a break and, okay, I spiraled, I'll fix it, whatever. I'm like, no, it's happening now. Imagine if this weren't chess and this was some type of criminal activity where my brain is just going and going and going like this, and I can't stop. Just imagine how permanently screwed my life would be. And that's kind of a scary thought at first. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's crazy. But also, what if we could have caught, dangerous criminals, people that are serving possibly life sentences if they maybe killed someone, or, when you look back, a lot of times it's not like they just woke up one day and killed somebody. It was a drug offense. It snowballed into theft, and then, you just get in a bad downward spiral. And what if you could have caught them? Maybe when they were 17, didn't have any parents, got caught for their first offense, and instead of guards being pricks, and not all guards in prisons are pricks, but some are, and even if you got to be a prick to be in control, I get it. But what if they just viewed them? I really think that this is an interesting thought. If we have to do our job and it's hard, whether it be in the corporate world or a guard or warden in prison, to maintain control, but okay, got to be mean, got to show that we're the boss. But what if we did it just with the attitude? That's not a prisoner. That's a person who made one mistake. Or that's not an emotional young woman or man. That's someone who just hasn't learned yet. And even if you talk or say the same things, I really think just having that belief will make it come off in a way that doesn't demoralize people. I think the belief that, you are an inmate is so dangerous that even if you say the same words as a guard who believes, yeah, I have a good family, you didn't, and otherwise I might be you. Even if you have to say the same things and do the same job, just your energy, even your body language, and the way you make that person feel when you leave can change his or her life. We don't have to be an empath, but just our belief about people, which mine personally is that prisoners are people, and in a lot of cases they're much brighter than most politicians and corporate workers, even in the high ranks. I think they had much more potential. Their brain just chose the wrong thing to get obsessed with. And that's an exciting way to look at the world. Just because somebody is in a bad situation doesn't mean we can help them, even if it's not their fault. That sucks. We can't just go and risk our lives or futures, especially if we have a family. But we can talk to them with the belief they are not diseased, or they are not destined for a life in prison. Because when someone's already hurting, yeah, of course we have free will, but look at COVID lockdown. It's hard to just think your way out of a bad situation where you already have momentum working against you. If you don't have someone to tell you good job or explain mental health to you in the prison example. That's why I am very proud of my chess journey also. Though everything I said about momentum and prison sucking is true, I would say some of the happier people and maybe more successful people had to overcome the right amount of adversity. And when I say the right amount of adversity, I mean like prison is probably too much. It's not good, because even if it does make you a better, stronger person, it sets you back too much. You're older. If you're trying to do something like chess, you could get good, but if you start too late, you're screwed. So you eliminate some of your options. The character building of learning from our mistakes and being punished for our mistakes is so much less valuable than just the time in a job would have been. So it's not an advantage. But let's say somebody committed crimes, maybe didn't get caught, had a close call, or the cops came, didn't find everything, a bad slap on the wrist, but it wakes them up enough to realize I'm a fuck up, or I'm being a fuck up. Those types of people, I think Malcolm Gladwell, my favorite author, called that a remote miss. So a remote miss versus a near miss. It's a fascinating concept. I think I haven't read this in years. Yeah. So a remote miss, meaning, I think the example he used in the book, a war was happening and the opposing side bombed a neighborhood or a bunch of houses were close enough to the battleground where a neighborhood, several houses got hit. And so, of course, a group died of basically innocent people. Another group was injured so bad that, like with prisoners, it's like, that's not good. You're going to be too far behind. You got to learn to walk. You got to get prosthetic legs or something. And then there was another group, which I think he's calling that the remote miss category, where they might have had to help clean up the devastation. Maybe they knew the neighbor who lost their kids, but their family's still intact. They might have had a part of their house damaged, and let's say, God, I'm thankful for my house. They don't have a house anymore. Like normally, yeah, that would suck. The siding on my house is bad. We got to spend a couple $1,000s to fix that, and there's a hole in the roof, but just a small one. So we got to fix that. But God damn, my friend's house is blown the fuck up, and he'll never see his kid. I got to go to their funeral. Like, man, it's gonna be sad for me because I knew the kid. It was a good kid, but I mean, imagine being the parents and then you're holding your kid at the funeral. That's a remote miss. That's my life could have been fucked. But it's only temporarily damaged. And I don't know that I like that quote. There's a lot of good stuff in that chapter. It makes you think you're invincible. But fair. I would say, and he does mention this, more importantly than making you feel invincible, it makes you grateful. It gives you a sense of urgency. That no amount of just positive thinking, that's why it's hard for me to kiss important people's asses. Yeah, positive thinking, you gotta have a good attitude, but an event like that we could not possibly inflict on ourselves, it's just completely random, will do so much better things for us psychologically long term than reading a book or learning to network or taking a course. It's got to be an element of that for someone that does special things. See, and then there are near misses who have been crushed. And though, yeah, it's possible to overcome any bad thing. If during COVID lockdown, let's say I wouldn't have got a leave of absence, for example, I got very lucky. But you make one mistake because you were actually like temporarily crushed. You weren't temporarily set back or damaged, you were crushed. You were too close. Maybe you were the grandma of that kid who got killed in the bombing. You're not the parents. You're not with them every day, but I mean, you are the grandma, and you were very involved. It's near. You still have your kids, but no, you're not the same person. You never will be again. That's kind of a near miss. Will you be able to overcome that? Maybe. Will you be able to speak about it? I mean, Holocaust survivors sometimes were able to talk about their experiences and how they got through it and help others. So, yeah, you could. But the vast majority of people, if you're too close to a bad event, you're not going to be super useful, at least in the near future. It takes a combination of things to be successful. And that's what I think my chess journey is going to show. Will I be a master? If I got a chance to do it full time, yeah, I could absolutely become an international master, which is much better than a master. If I spend every day for like 10 years, I could become an international master. Grandmaster, I would say, is impossible. Had I started with a coach in a serious program at age 25 or almost 26 when I messed around with online chess, yeah, I could become a grandmaster. If at age 25, I didn't have to worry about anything but playing chess, and I had a coach that had done it and is one of the best coaches in the world, yeah, I could. But, I mean, I worked in tech during COVID. It was a bad situation. No one can predict the future. I had a leave of absence. They were trying to do, it's funny as shit. The company was trying to do what Magnus did to Hans Niemann, which is crush him. But I think Hans Niemann's situation, too, is an example of that near versus remote miss. I think Magnus Carlsen, I absolutely think it was malicious. Magnus Carlsen has, even if he thinks Hans cheated, he obviously has no evidence. But I don't think Magnus has any real concern of Hans cheating over the board. I absolutely believe Magnus, there's probably no better human in the world to understand the potential of a young athlete than Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen sensed Hans Niemann is special. And that's why I was on the Hans Niemann bandwagon as soon as that happened. Because to the outside person or to the emotional person who doesn't think much, so well, Hans Niemann might be a cheater. And I immediately, that's a special person. Hans Niemann is special because no one kicks a dead dog. Give me him. I'll trade every chess person. No offense. I don't mean to be mean. I will trade everyone in for one piece of content, one meeting. Hans Niemann to be my coach. Hans Niemann is it. And that's how we should look at things. Why is he getting attacked? He's special. And what they did to Hans Niemann was cruel. It was unnecessary. Will Hans Niemann be stronger for it? I don't know. I think probably because he didn't lose that much time fighting in court and whatnot. He lost just enough time to, I think, make him appreciate it, and he's young. And it forced him to probably learn some skills he never would have had to have learned. You know, how to rest when you're mad, how to perform when people are questioning you, which world champions will have to do, and some of them struggle with that. Ali Reza struggled with his nerves supposedly in his first candidates, and I think Hans Niemann, when he gets there, and Hans Niemann will definitely make a candidates, if not win one eventually. I think Hans Niemann will have a lot of learnings from the Magnus Carlsen bullshit that will actually help him. So if it doesn't, if you are going to try to attack someone you don't like, I guess finish them off is the message here. Because it might be just what they needed to get over the hump. And then, even if you are super competitive and beating someone once isn't revenge, okay, fuck you. There are people in Africa starving, dickhead. There's kids in Africa that would, maybe they saw chess once. And I hate that. That's an American thing to say. Kids in Africa, it's just a saying. No, there's people that do well in Africa too. But there's people who will never have an opportunity to play chess that would kill to play one game of chess or have the money for one membership. And your daddy helped you, just like my parents are good parents. So otherwise, you might not have got to play chess. So then to be a prick, yeah, be competitive. Maybe I don't have it in me. I don't know. I just think you're a cock. It's just a huge cock and a terrible ambassador for the sport, and you always will be, in my opinion. If you want to isolate the person or not invite him to things, try to get in his head that way, that's fine. But to refuse to play him when that's your job, yeah, what a shitty human. What an ugly piece of shit. Okay, so I've got all my, I'm rambling a little bit now. So I have all my numbers documented pretty neatly. Now I need to record, but I need it to be dark outside. So it can be like I'm losing my mind at night, beating walls. And then I'm going to put these in a kind of transparent way. I never created a video with AI in here. I don't know that I need those. Let's put them all in there, fine. I'll record my rock climbing portion probably this morning. Me and Ralph. It's a long story. Interesting character. We stay in touch. Okay, I don't need that. And then I have to memorize this rap. And what I'm likely going to do is I'm going to be rapping this in the background, and then I'll turn up the volume every chorus for a transition in my video. I'm getting I got pretty good when I was creating content. I mean, I'm pretty close to full time. At one example would be in my head while I'm doing my skit. If I want to do music over it or a chess game at the same time, which usually we don't do that. Usually we have a song and then we transition to chess or a skit, and it's one thing at a time. But sometimes it's cool to have layers. And I got pretty good at, okay, the chorus is going in my head while I'm speaking or playing my chess game, and I'm pretty close, kind of like I'm singing in my head while I'm talking. It's weird. Pretty close to that. I know that's when it would end. You know, that's when the chorus starts back up. So that's when I need to try to end that chess exercise, because I know I want the chorus to start and then I transition to the next one. I don't want it to be mid. I don't want it to cut me off. I want to start a new thing. So then in my head, you turn up the volume. There we go again. That's what I need to do in this one. I need to climb my walls for the amount of time this first verse goes, and then I need to be doing there's 3 components. It's like a fake proposal. Until she finds out I want to be a chess player, and then she dumps me. And that needs to last the same amount of time as the second verse. And then me hallucinating while talking to the ghost of Paul Morphy will occur during this third verse. And then we'll close with the chorus. And however long this song is should be about the time of my trailer. All right. So we have all the pieces in place. I have my plan. I've also written my plan, including some quotes. What's up, gaming? You left. I don't check my comments. What's up? Come back on, we'll talk about it. Gaming. Will you exchange your channel with me? I don't really understand what you mean. Do you mean subscribe in return for you subscribing to me? That's a great deal. Of course I would. You have one video and it's not motivating me. Let's see what it is. Water in the Antarctic. No. What are you doing? What is this? What is this? I don't understand. I'm not going to subscribe until I understand or use it. One video, and that's the only video of you in a frigid area getting water that's going to be too cold to enjoy. I'm going to be using this week to get my trailer together, get completely rested. Then next week, I will do a lot of physical things. I need to lose about 20 pounds. And 2 Sundays from now, I will get back into Over the Board and resume my climb of Chess Mountain.